while we were doing it in the beginning. In the beginning, we did the pilot, and then we did the first season, and we really had not that much of a clue of what it was all about, really. We just knew that the producer, Saban, was taking this concept that had worked in Japan and bringing it to America to make it into an American show. So we weren't familiar with all the characters and the way it all worked out, and we were just creating our own thing. So I think as time went by and the toys were sold and the show became popular, then we got to see some of the footage, but it was never anything like we sat down all together and really studied it to help benefit the show in any way. Yes? What's my favorite anime? I can't really say. I don't watch a lot of anime, to be honest with you, and I have a bad memory for different things, so I don't actually have a favorite, but I know I like to play a lot of games, and so I definitely like Final Fantasy stuff and stuff like that, and all the Tekken games, the fighting games, all that stuff. Any other questions? Yes. You. Why did I quit? It was a non-union show, and we'd done about 90 episodes, non-union. They made $1 billion in the first year, and they didn't want to turn it into a union show. They wanted us to sign another contract for another season and 3 films, all non-union, and I didn't think that was right. So I stepped away. I talked to a lawyer, and the lawyer, we went into a whole negotiation thing, and in the end, I decided it was better for me to just move on because I didn't want to come back and have my character diminished. So it just worked out that way. It was unfortunate. I wish I would have been part of the movies, and I wish I would have been able to continue to work on the show, because I was having a great time. It was fun, but I just didn't want to. I just couldn't continue to be used, I guess, in that way. Yes?
So, like, if they asked you to come back and, like, guest star in one of the new seasons somehow, would you do it?
If they asked me to come back and guest star in a new season, would I do it? If it was union, yes, because I'm a union actor now at this point. Well, immediately after I left the show, I joined the union. Yes?
Have you ever run into any of the actors from, like, the other Power Rangers series?
In fact, we just did a convention 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles. There was about 14 of us on the panel. A lot of that you can see on YouTube, and I get along with all those guys. I mean, I respect them and the work that they did and that they continue to do. So yeah, that's cool. Yes.
This kind of ties into his question. Was it hard finding work after you stopped working with Power Rangers?
No. After I left Power Rangers, he asked me, was it hard finding work after I left Power Rangers? After I left Power Rangers, I booked a show on Nickelodeon, a show called Space Cases, which was...
oh, yes.
That was an awesome show. It was for Nickelodeon. It was kind of like a Star Trek for kids, and I was Captain Kirk. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And then from there, I went on to do a number of other things, an Aaron Spelling show, and guest stars, and reoccurrings, and films, and I've been working ever since. Yes?
About that show, how was it working on that show?
On Space Cases?
Yeah, where none of the adults could use the controls and only the children could.
I thought that was a great concept. The concept of the Space Cases show was that all the kids, they were on a board of a ship that had a mind of its own. It was kind of broken, and it's journeying through space to places unknown, and nobody can actually run the ship except for the kids, and I was the lead kid, so I got to be the captain, and the adults on the show were logged onto the ship as passengers, so they couldn't actually utilize any of the functions of the ship. I thought it was a great concept, and it was a lot of fun to do, and especially being the character of Harlan Band on that show. I was kind of a smart aleck, and leaped before I looked, and got into a lot of trouble, but always found a way to fix things in the end. So it was a very enjoyable character to portray. Any other questions? Yes.
So what's the kind of stuff you're doing now?
I just finished a film a couple of weeks ago in New Orleans called Immortal Cycle. It's basically a science fiction film about a gang of vampires, a motorcycle gang of vampires, headed by Sticky Fingers, who's a rapper, and I am a vampire hunter from a family of vampire hunters, and I am seeking to shut them down, basically. So that's what the film is about. It should be coming out in a couple of months on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. Yes, you. What acting job have I hated the most? Oh, wow. I can't say. Well, let me think. I can't say that there's been much that I've done acting-wise that I've hated. I've hated the outcome of some of the things that I've done because it wasn't my performance that I found lacking, but the total production of the whole. I did a film called Backyard Dogs. It's a wrestling film, a street wrestling film, and it had a lot of potential to be a lot of things, and in the end, the production was just horrible. So the way it was filmed, the way it was put together and edited, and it's a bummer because there's a lot of potential for that, but it wasn't a product or a project that I did enjoy acting in. I love acting, so it's all good. Any other questions? You? Yes.
How did you first get into acting?
How did I first get into acting? You know what? I started acting as a child in like church, church plays and in school plays, and I was in acting school or acting classes, and I did the summer acting thing, and then I left. I grew up in Detroit. I left Detroit, and I actually ended up going to San Diego to a school of performing arts, and studied there, and then just continued in business.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The last time I saw the other Power Rangers,
I saw Austin St. John probably about 6 months ago or so, last year. I haven't seen Amy Jo Johnson or David Yost or Jason Frank. I haven't seen any of them since I left the show. So it's been a long time. I've talked to them, but I haven't seen them. I've seen Bulk and Skull, Jason Schreier and Paul Schreier and Jason Narby. I've seen them both, and I've seen members of the other cast, but I haven't seen any of my original cast besides Austin in quite some time. Any other questions yet?
Hey, could you beat Johnny Youngbock in a fight?
Can I beat Johnny Youngbock in a fight?
I knew this was coming.
That's for sure.
I knew this one
All
was.
that, we can go head to head, but no, he's a very skilled martial artist himself. So who knows, man? I think he's a very talented brother and a great actor, and I think he did a great job on the show. Of course, I am the original Black Ranger.
Nothing beats the original.
Are there any other questions? Yes?
Just one more. I'm pretty sure everyone's saying the same thing too.
What is that?
Did you do more?
More.
Got some more for now.